Nadia Sahari Show. As you know, my shows are to help you achieve your dreams, to help you step by step if you have the same dream as my guest, and to give you encouragement and inspiration. So I hope today's guest will give that to you because I have known him. I met him, probably 7 years ago. And it's been a long time since I've seen him, and it's wonderful to have him on my show. He is a producer, director, and writer. He is the most innovative special effects makeup artist and creatures creator. He is amazing, and he has done this and has over 100 films and TV credits to his name. Let's welcome Todd Tucker. Welcome to the Nadia Sahari Show. I'm so happy to have you.
Oh, thank you for having me. That's a hard introduction to live up to.
Well,
I'm waiting to see who you're bringing on. I guess it is me.
Yes, you've lived up to it, haven't you?
I've tried to, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I met you when you were doing the special effects for the Michael Jackson. What did you do at that show? You were doing the special effects with the lighting, or what is it exactly?
No, actually, that was so basically there was a magazine that had done a feature on me, and they were giving me an award, and I went to the award show, and there was a Michael Jackson impersonator that was part of the show. Yes. And he was amazing.
Yeah.
And I reached out to him and I said, hey man, if you ever need prosthetics or you ever want to look even more like Michael, I'd be happy to help you out. And so he called me and we got together and I did some prosthetics for him and made some fake teeth and just gave him some things to make him just look a little bit more. He already looked really like him anyway. And this guy was amazing. He was doing it all with just color. And honestly, to be honest, he didn't need me. He already had it nailed. I just offered a little nose tip and teeth and little things like that might just make it look a little bit more, but he already had it. But that show that I saw you at, they were asking me to kind of help start producing and get in the mix there. And I was starting to develop an actual full Michael Jackson illusion-driven show. But it ended up just not happening. But the guy was really good, and I think he's still playing. So
yes, he's in Las Vegas, and he's married.
Oh, good.
Yes.
I haven't talked to him for a long time, so that's really good. I'm glad.
And I've seen pictures of him without looking like Michael Jackson, and I was so shocked.
Well, it's weird. Yeah, he actually looks like Johnny Depp.
Oh my goodness! What a great makeup job! I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it was him.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I met him first as Michael. I didn't even see him as himself.
I never
he didn't have any photos on. And then he flew in from wherever he was living, and I did a face cast on him and all that. And when I took the face cast out, I looked at it and I went, dude, it's funny that you're playing Michael Jackson because you actually look like Johnny Depp.
I know, it's weird.
If he asked me to make you Jack Sparrow, that would have been easy. But, he went for a whole different thing.
Well, you're very good at what you do. And let's talk about the films. What films were you part of where you did special effect makeup or where you created creatures? And let's talk about that because I'm interested in that, and I'm sure the audience is.
So I've been very fortunate, and this is partially because I've tried to never ever have a negative attitude throughout my career, and I do believe that people that exude positivity will go further and do better because people want to be around them and want to hire them, and it's just a better experience. And I now, as a director producer, only hire people that are positive and give a good energy, because it's just, I've done this too long now to be around negative people anytime I don't have to be, so but I started off being a special effects makeup artist, and I got lucky right off the bat. The company that I started working for, my first big movie was Hook with Robin Williams, and then we did, and it was a team of people. It's me and I wasn't the owner. I was just a schlep that was working at the studio. So I was probably one of a dozen people that were all responsible for building the makeup effects and all the creatures and stuff for Bram Stoker's Dracula with Gary Oldman and first Pirates of the Caribbean and a bunch of really cool movies. And then I opened up my own studio that I owned. And when I did that, we did the movies, the Smurfs and Smurfs 2. We did The Watchmen. We did recently, we did the movie Dog's Journey and did old age makeups. So it's been a lot of television. I did 7 years of the TV show Charmed, and actually played a lot of the creatures that I made on the show, because it was cheaper and easier for me to reuse my head cast and my teeth cast and just play the characters and keep the costs down. And they were cool with that because they could abuse me and I was fine with it.
That is cool. That is so cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I got lucky because, and when I moved here from Northern California, I had a goal. I wanted to be a SAG actor and play characters and be a puppeteer, and I wanted to direct. And I mean, I wanted to do so many different things, and I got very fortunate. I got in the DGA and became a director, and I produced and got to write and still do makeup effects and play creatures. And so I've just been having fun. And I will tell you right now, for anyone out there, if anyone tells you you can't do something, that is the go. Go do it.
Oh, I'm with you.
Go.
Yes. I'm with you.
Go.
Yes,
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's what makes me drive on, is when they say no, or you can't. I go, oh, yes, I can. How long is this a dream that you had as a child? What started this whole thing for you? What was it in the beginning of time? How old were you?
I've always been an artist. I've always made stuff. I was the weird kid making monsters in his garage. I didn't have any brothers or sisters, so I was a weird only child with very few friends. I was pretty nerdy, and as an introvert. I actually, since I've seen you, I actually wrote, directed, and produced a feature film that came out and did very well, called The Terror of Hallows Eve. And you can see it on Showtime, DirecTV, Amazon, Redbox. It pretty much went everywhere.
Oh, I'm going to watch
but
it.
At the beginning of the story, I based it on me as a kid. So you see this nerdy 13-year-old kid making monsters in his garage. And in the story, the kid, and I based it on something that really happened. I got beat up really bad by these bullies when I was 13. And I took that premise and made it so that the kid in the story in 1982 gets beat up on Halloween night, and he finds a pumpkin, brings it home, carves it, and makes a wish of revenge, and his house is turned into a poltergeist of creatures that kill the bullies. So I got my revenge on my bullies in my movie.
You did. Do you know
but
where
it's
they
funny
are?
because well, you know what, it's weird because I actually, after the movie came out, I actually got an email from this guy who was one of the guys, because I made the guys in the movie that played the bullies look just like the real guys. I literally, same haircut, same wardrobe, everything. I mean, these guys, I cast people that look just like these guys because I wanted the movie to feel like a memory that I had and trying to recreate it. So I made everything look and be exactly what I remember as much as I could. But it was clearly enough that one of the bullies reached out and he emailed me and said, hey man, I am so sorry for what happened. If it makes you feel any better, the other guy's in jail and the other guy's dead.
Oh man.
And I went,
wow.
Oh, that's crazy.
Crazy.
Didn't really make me feel any better, but I mean, you know, it was nice. It was interesting. I didn't respond or anything because, you know, I just left it alone. But anyway, so that movie came out, but that movie has a lot of, shows a lot of what I did as a kid, just being this weird nerd kid making monsters. But yeah, I had a dream of, you know, of working in the film industry, making monsters. I made a lot of like shorts and played a lot of, and was a puppeteer. I loved Jim Henson and everything Jim Henson. So I made puppets and did little shows. And so I was just weird.
You know, that is great. I can't wait to see your movie.
Yeah,
And
it's pretty cool. We actually got original music from John Carpenter, who wrote and directed the movie Halloween, and we got Doug Jones as our lead creature. He was the Shape of Water creature, and I got Eric Roberts and a bunch of people in it. So it's a real movie, actually.
oh, that's wonderful. I can't wait
Yeah,
to see it. That is so cool. Wow,
yeah,
good for you. Congratulations. And it
yeah.
was kind of a purging thing. And I mean, you've got to feel vindicated.
Well, it was interesting too because it's very much a nod to the old 1980s monster movies. Like it's not a bloody, gory movie. It's not.
Yeah.
There's no sex in it. It's nothing. It's nothing raw.
Good for
It's
children.
more. It's not made for children. It's probably PG-13 R, but it's not like a hard R. It's more like a fantasy horror than a bloody, gory horror.
Okay.
But at the very beginning of it, when I was writing the script and I was writing this whole thing and explaining how this happened to me and how I got beat up and how, I was like, it's 30 minutes into the movie and I don't even have a monster yet. I'm like, I'm not sure if this is going to fly, because when you see a monster movie, you want monsters. And I said, it's okay. I'm going to stick with it because I think the base of what actually happened to me is kind of important and maybe it'll resonate with people.
Yes.
And then once I took it, it went into all these festivals. It was headlining at Fright Fest in London. I went to London. I went to Spain, and I would sign autographs after the movie. And I would have all these people come up to me and start telling me about their bully stories and just break down crying.
Oh.
Like, cool. I hit a note with people because it became personable.
Yeah.
So I'm glad I made that choice because it made the movie stand out. And a lot of people were comparing it to like Stranger Things meets It.
Oh, okay. Yes. And you're talking about, yes.
Yeah. And I'm fine with that. That's a great comparison. I'll take
Yes.
that. So,
yes.
but it was definitely, I hit the note with the anti-bully, and then I did an anti-bully campaign online for a while and was talking about it and just kind of getting the awareness out there a little bit. So it served a lot of purposes and it opened a lot of doors, and I'm very fortunate to have been able to do it.
That's wonderful. I wrote and had published a book called The Bully Cat, which I did to help children who were keeping silent about their bullies.
Mm-hmm.
And so that they knew what to do. And there was a story surrounded with cats. And this one cat was bullying all the other cats for food, and they were afraid of him, and he was attacking them. And so I taught children to speak up and not to be silent, and to go to someone and talk about who is bullying them and to help them and to speak up. And that's it, and it's a shame because really most of us have been bullied in some way, or we were bullies. And even the bullies were bullied. So that's why they became bullies.
Right.
And something at home.
Sure.
It's always something at home. And it all starts at home in our childhood that causes these things in our lives, these issues that we have as adults.
I think a lot of it was dysfunctional families and a lot of issues with parenting, because there's a lot of people that I spoke to, and there were bullies that actually came up to me and said, look, I used to be a bully and blah, blah, blah. And kind of the one common thread that they all had was they all had bad family.
Yes.
Either they were single parent that wasn't involved or whatever, or alcoholic parents or something that just made it really hard to be a kid growing up in that family, that turned them into a negative, pissed off person.
Yes.
And
most of the households are dysfunctional. And I mean, really, have you met too many healthy ones? I haven't.
Well, no. I was raised in a total dysfunctional family, single parent situation, and it was not good. And the thing is too, is when I talk about the movie after people have watched it and they kind of see what it is and they get it, I do mention to them, I didn't make this movie necessarily to tell, to point to the bullying. I kind of wanted to do that, but I actually wanted to also let you know that you can go through that process and not let it affect you long term.
That's right. And you still achieved your dream. You still went after your
Right.
dream and you did what you wanted to do. You made a life for yourself. You chose not to get vindictive against them personally,
Right.
and you chose to forgive, and you chose to go on with your life. And that's
Yeah.
wonderful. That's beautiful. That's why
Well,
you're happy and content.
yeah, it's taking the negative and using it as motivation
Yes,
to move forward.
yes,
Use it as drive, because you know what? When you're really angry and you have a lot of anger for whatever reason, whether it's with your family, whether it's for being bullied, whatever it is, the best thing I have found for me personally is to be able to somehow turn that into the motivation to do more with yourself, to, if nothing else, prove to everybody else that you're worth it.
amen, amen. And that is so true. And that is, and you need to also acknowledge where that anger came from in the beginning in your childhood. And it's something in your childhood that you have to deal with and bring it out in the open and acknowledge it and deal with it and forgive it and forgive whoever,
and
whatever, get it out.
and get past it,
And
because
get
I know
past it. Yes,
there's so many people that that I've known over years that ultimately blame their, how do I say this, blame their failures
yes,
on what happened to them as a kid. And it's like,
yes,
no, dude. Once you're over 18, you rule your own life
yes,
regardless. And whatever happened to you, you need to shed that and go, as an adult, go set the new path. If there were issues before, you are in charge now. So don't let that dictate, and don't come back to me and say, oh, I didn't do well in my life because daddy didn't love me. No, that doesn't fly. That
yes,
flew until when you were a little kid, but now you're an adult. Understand what it is, or if whatever the problem is, just kind of, you have to get past it and realize that now that you're in control of your own life, just make it what you want it to be. Don't let what anyone said to you, don't let anyone tell you what your value is.
yes.
You set your own value, and it's only up to you to go out and do. And I am proof positive. I should be in jail right now. I shouldn't even have a career. I should be but I'm proof positive that you can literally take things bad and deal with it, get it out of the way, don't dwell on it, and use it as motivation to move forward and do good things.
Amen. You are so honest and humble and wonderful to say that, because it's so true. And we all have a choice on how we want to live. It is by choice and not by chances that we change our circumstances. Change your mind, change your life.
Yeah.
And
I speak.
all up here, the thoughts, you have to change those thoughts. And that's what you've done. And you've done the positive thoughts. And those positive thoughts have given you what you have and put you where you are today.
Well, you know what? And here's the thing too is, and I was just saying this to somebody the other day. I'm like, it's really easy to go through life angry and frustrated because life is frustrating.
Yes.
And there's so much weird stuff in the world that's out of your control, and you just have to deal with it. But ultimately, I was telling my daughter this because she was telling me she was getting frustrated with certain things. And I'm like, if you really step out of your own situation for a second and look at your situation, you have nothing to be frustrated about. And you really need to focus on the good, because if you don't, you'll go through life always in a negative frame of mind, and you won't get the most out of life that you can get. And you're setting yourself up for something bad to happen and have you turn around and go, man, I should have appreciated things when they were okay.
Yes.
So it's like I said, you gotta just kind of focus on positive, because as you go through life, and I now know this as an old man, as you go through life, it's really easy to be frustrated and upset. It's harder to be in a good spirits and try to just, be positive. But it's long term, it's more healthy, and life is better if you don't focus on the negative.
Yes.
So it just helps. And I try to just, sometimes I speak at schools and and makeup schools and stuff like that. And I try to tell everybody, especially people that are young and just starting off in their careers and stuff. I'm like, be very driven, be good to everyone, And if for no other reason, because you never know where somebody's going to be in 5 years in the entertainment industry.
Yes.
They may be down at the bottom, and 5 years from now, they may be the one hiring you.
Yes.
So never have an attitude with anyone. Treat the people at catering the same way you treat the producers and the director.
That's
It's
right.
just
Yes.
common sense anyway. I mean, you should anyway, just as a person to be.
Absolutely. God says
But
one another. That's what we're here for. We're here to love one another, to support one another, and to be happy. We are in this pandemic situation because of all the hate that was around us. And this hate created this pandemic. And I really believe that. And only love can conquer it and get rid of it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's important right now for people to try to be positive, because it's really easy to be negative. So for everyone out there, if you and also I'll say this is funny too. As soon as the pandemic hit, like the day everything closed down, I started a brand new project that I am now pitching as a feature film. I put this whole thing together during the pandemic, made that my focus, so that I could have something positive to think about and move forward every single day, so that I wasn't dwelling on the negative. So you really kind of have to do it to yourself. You have to create opportunities yourself.
Yes, yes, absolutely. So when you do makeup or designing your creatures or whatever you do, now, did you get training for that? Did you go to school for that? Or is it something that came naturally for you?
I always was artistic and always took art classes and drew. I drew two-dimensional. And then I really wanted to get into makeup effects, and I met these two guys in Northern California, a guy named Steve Wang and a guy named Matt Rose. And they were sculptors, makeup effects guys, and they basically took me under their wing and taught me a bunch of stuff, and then moved down to Los Angeles and started working in the film industry. And then a few years later, after I was had got my portfolio together and was ready, I moved down here, and they basically helped me get into the film industry. So I owe those guys everything. And then that was right around 1990, right around that time frame. So I didn't go to school though, because there wasn't really a lot of schools back then. There wasn't a lot of training back then. So I was pretty much self-taught, and then those guys were the best teachers you could ever have. So
do you do any teaching at all? Do you do what they did for you? Do you have classes or
I speak at a makeup school here in Burbank called MUD. They're one of the top makeup schools, but they also teach makeup effects. I'm on the council there, and I speak there all the time. And I taught makeup here and there for different things here and there. I don't really have a lot of time to teach, but I've taken some people under my wing. I've mentored some people and stuff. So I've been able to do that. And right now I've been helping some young filmmakers trying to learn how to direct and produce. So I try to help out, and when I see people that are inspired and passionate, I just instantly attract to it. So when they ask me to help, I have a hard time saying no.
Oh, that's great. Makes me want to write and develop a monster film so you could do the makeup.
Yeah.
Or
Right.
the picture.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Anyway, that is cool. Well, so now if someone out there wants to do what you're doing, the makeup or the designing creatures, creating things, and wants to get into the industry, what advice would you give?
Here's the advice that I give when I go to makeup schools.
Yes.
If you want to learn how to do special effects makeup, there's so many different aspects of it. You could be a sculptor. There's mold making. There's punching hair. There's on-set application. So there's so many different aspects of what being a special effects makeup artist could be, that if you're really, really interested in it, then there's more than enough information online. There's videos, there's all kinds of stuff that shows every aspect of what we do. If you find yourself compelled to watch this stuff and look at this stuff, and you want to go start doing this stuff, you can get all the materials, you can order everything online. if you find yourself setting up a shop in your garage and trying to do this stuff, then you might actually be a makeup effects guy or girl. And if you're into it and you're driven to it, that is the only reason why I would tell anyone to even try to do this, because it's not a glorified job. There's not huge amounts of money all the time, once in a while, but you know, it's not, you're not going to become rich necessarily as a makeup effects artist. So the reason why you want to do it is because you're passionate and that's what you want to do. I was making sculptures and puppets and masks in my garage every weekend, every night, trying to get as much information as I could, because I just wanted to learn, because I wanted to make this stuff. If you're just thinking about it because you don't know what else you might want to do and mom and dad are pushing you to do something, probably not the job for you. You really got to be inspired and really like this stuff, because you will work very, very long hours. It'll take you a long time to get to the point where you're professionally making good money. You can make a living at it and you can make good money at it. So it is a real job, but it is very competitive. It's not easy, and you have to be passionate to want to do it. But if you are, there's all kinds of information online that you can get to move it forward.
Wonderful. How about giving the listeners your website or information about contacting you, or your social media, and or where they can see your work?
Sure. You can check out my company, Illusion Industries, at Illusion Industries Facebook, Instagram, and our website. You can check out all the other goofy stuff that I'm doing at Todd Tucker, the official Todd Tucker Instagram and Facebook. This is kind of silly, but and this is actually one of my bigger claim to fame now. Of all the things I've done, one of the things that people now on the street recognize me for is I spent the last 4 years as one of the celebrity judges for the reality show Halloween Wars on the Food Network.
Oh.
And I'm like the Simon Cowell guy. I'm the mean one.
That's cool.
So now I have people come up on the street and say, "Can I take a picture with the Simon Cowell guy?"
That is cool.
But it's a great show, Halloween Wars. It's been on for 10 seasons. I started on season 7, so it comes on and it's actually one of the top 10 cable shows on cable during the entire month of October. So there's that, and then here's the coolest, newest thing. I can't really talk about it, but I can just give a little bit. I got very lucky just before COVID hit and everything shut down. I landed a movie that we did the special effects for. We designed the characters. We built everything in my studio while everything was shut down. No one got sick. We did it very safe. The movie already shot in Bulgaria and is actually in post now. We were fortunate enough to create the new Leatherface for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise reboot.
Listen to this. Back in, let's see, when was it? I think it was in, I don't know which Texas Chainsaw Massacre it was. One of the movies, anyway. My son was a lead guitarist in the soundtrack for that movie.
Nice.
Then,
yeah,
that is cool. So. Yeah. Yes, and well, that's wonderful. I'm so excited for you, and I'm so happy for you. And I thought of you, and because our photos came up on social media during the Michael Jackson thing. I said, and there's a picture of you and me, and Julie, and I said, wow, I've got to call him. I got to get him on my show. So this is great. Thank you so much for agreeing and for being on here. And I'm so happy for you. Keep up the good work, and let's stay in touch.
Sounds great, and thank you very much for having me on, and it was a lot of fun. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. God bless you, and take
You
care
too.
of yourself and be safe.
Okay.